What up traders, what up investors, Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic video. Today we're going to be looking at NIO. Yes, NIO, the EV Chinese car company. Once again, I needed to share this. This was a fairly large options trade that I saw come through here today as well. We're going to be diving into that again. It's nearly a $4.8 million placing of a trade out in May. May monthly expiration for NIO. So let's go ahead and talk about two quick things. We have the Amazon affiliate links down below, the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, a lot of great conversations going on there. Such great people. Very friendly. Just check it out. Completely no obligations, no strings attached. Just go ahead and join. A lot of fun stuff going on there. And then second, and actually third, is the Tastyworks account. So if you're looking on finding a fantastic platform for options, stock, and cryptos, and futures, Tastyworks is your answer. This is what I use for trading, and I know it and I love it. And again, if you're interested in supporting the channel using my referral link, it's down in the description below. If you open up an account of $2,000 or more, you have the obligation, or the basically allowing you to choose 10 options or 100 stock, and you can decipher from that. Again, it applies to a $2,000 account opening there. So without further ado, let's kind of just jump into the show here. Yes, I did say that. NIO, $4.8 million. Yes. Say what? Will Ferrell, funny dude. So I was just kind of like cruising along here, just kind of looking at a couple things just before, heading to bed. Again, it's fairly late for me. It's 10 o'clock. And I saw, just kind of checking in on some of the larger tickers that I follow, like 30 or 40 of them, especially the ones that you continuously see reoccurring in the news and things like that. And NIO, so someone, trader, investor, hedge fund, whatever, bought at basically 1:19 today. They've made, basically it was one order, but it came off as two different transactions of nearly was this like 2,700 contracts for $13.75. Again, this is the May 21, so the 21st of May of this year, the $60 call, buying both of these contracts, buying both transactions, summing up is to basically equate to that alluring amount of the nearly $4.7 million. So that's not a small piece of change there, without a doubt. And you're asking, like, Ken, like, NIL, we're sick of it. Like, what's the point? What's going on here? Like, I know, I understand. Like, trust me, like, it's difficult to talk about some of these tickers. But that being said, it has to be something to justify this. Again, like, we had NIO pop up today, nearly 6.3% on the charts here. So the thing that's very not concerning, but it's something that is really potentially creating this momentum. I don't care what the talking heads on CNBC are saying. I don't care what other people are talking about, that NIO is trash, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, looking strictly at the chart, it looks really very well, very ripe to explode higher, honestly. Like, we're seeing a lot of smorgasbord of other things taking off here. We're seeing that 62.27 level, which we talked about before on the live streams, being some level of resistance to the upward side. We are seeing the TTM squeeze here switch from red to yellow, and it's still indicating as red as the squeeze is indicating, and that's when the Keltner and Bollinger Bands contract in, creating that squeeze mentality, not a short squeeze, but a squeeze of potentially making the ticks come in very closer, talking about those Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels, and exploding higher or lower. And with this kind of pattern here, we're seeing again, when it goes from red to yellow, or yellow to the light blue, like it did here, basically right before Christmas, we saw a nice explosion higher. So, like, how far did we see it going up? We saw it go up from basically the 46 all the way up to that 54. So we basically saw it jump nearly 2 or 3 Fibonacci levels. So we're already seeing it jump 1 Fibonacci level. I think it could potentially easily reach $70 if that squeeze does fire long. That is the caveat to it, though. That doesn't mean it's going to be guaranteed to hit $70, because that gorgeous guy with the glasses and the fantastic looking bookshelf and the wonderful daughter that makes 3-year-old artwork with her fingers, YouTuber. But this is the person, the individual, your buddy, the person who likes to share some of these ideas. Is the NIO could easily potentially run up to $70. I don't care if you think that it's a scam. Whatever, I don't. That's fine. Like I honestly agree with you because with some of these Chinese stocks. That being said, this chart is looking pretty ripe to take off here. Like I said, it is you see the parabolic SAR dots here as well. So let's kind of zoom in here real fast into these levels here. Those little purple dots here, again, that's the trend of the parabolic SAR dots. So once the dots are on top of the ticks, that means it's kind of pushing the overall trend lower. Usually it can be lower, it can just be trading sideways, you can see some chop, and we saw that for quite some time. But today, with the amount of momentum and volume coming in today, it really ripped us through that level. And we closed above that previous Fibonacci level, again, which we really haven't seen that kind of movement in a while here. And kind of, I like to look for patterns. So this is somewhat similar to what we saw here. So this is basically pre-Christmas, pre-Christmas Eve kind of time frame, where we just kind of saw the chop. It was kind of lingering around the 21 EMA, came down to the 34 a couple times and touched it. It gave a little love tap, but now we're seeing it potentially trying to blow higher here with the combination of the squeeze, with the combination of the moving average is pretty nicely stacked here, but again, because again, you can see the 5, 8, 21, 34, 50, 55, 144, and 200 all nicely stacked up. This is pretty ripe for a very nice pattern to potentially play out. That's not saying if something comes out the next day or next week or whatever, that is some kind of like damaging news. Like things change, okay? Like literally in 5 minutes from now, we find out that NIO does something illegal, whatever. That changes the aspect of things. But as of right now, that chart looks fairly ripe to run up to $70. If we do get a rip of $70, again, we do have earnings coming up at the beginning. It looks like just on the first day of March. So that's not too far away. We're a little about 3 weeks away from that. So yeah, but a little bit less than 3 weeks away on that time frame to look for. Usually, sometimes you see an earnings run potentially 2 weeks out, but 3 weeks again. There are some folks that are fairly aggressive on this. And we'll see this potentially pop up to that $70 range is something that we're going to be definitely looking to highlight in hopefully the next coming week or so. I did take a position in this ever so small though by selling premium around the 53 price target, kind of where the 34 EMA is. That being said, that's just a full position. I wish I could say I was that $4.8 million trader who put that bet on, but that's a little bit too much capital for Mr. Ken so far. Maybe in the future that'll be a small like 1% of the portfolio, but as of right now, that's well exceeding the margin that Tastyworks gives me. Anyways, that being said, so again, caveats what we're looking for. We're breaching that higher level of that Fibonacci movement here. That is at 1272. That next level we're going to be looking for is around that 68 to $70 range. With that movement, potentially earnings pushing this higher. Again, the person or the folks who bought those calls, they bought them all the way out in May. That's 101 Dalmatians away. I mean, 101 days away. Indicating that this, again, they're really going to be playing into earnings again, really playing almost 2 earnings with that kind of time frame on it, because there could be a run up into the next following earnings, because earnings happening within every 90 days. That being said, what are we looking for to the downside? Again, hey Ken, you're being very optimistic about this. Like, yeah, I don't like my emotions get the better of me, especially in the trading stuff. That being said, we do have some pretty substantial support around the 57.20 Fibonacci tree here, and as well as coming down to the 34. So around 54 to 57 is pretty stable support. And the reason why I can say that as well is looking here on this particular chart here. We're seeing this. I know this chart looks really messy, but I'm going to try to sum it up the best I can. We're seeing a lot of that consolidation that came in here. So we do have a lot of volume that was bought here around 45. So that was that previous really strong consolidation that we saw. Again, we talked about that December, end of December, Christmas time move that we had in NIO towards the end of the year. Again, really potentially playing into the NIO day, all that kind of stuff, where we saw it really rip higher over the next week or so. Could we potentially seeing this with earnings as well coming out? Could we see this really tremendous rip higher here? Yeah, without a doubt. Really be looking for some initial targets to potentially hit is that 68 to 68, 66 to 68, then 70 range. Those are basically some levels that we need to be looking at via the volume bars here. So again, the reason why I point out the 67 is that's basically the previous high. So we could get a little bit of resistance at that range, but at the same time also potentially hitting that 68.80, which is a Fibonacci number that I really consider being maybe essentials first targets for if you're buying it at this top here, which I don't recommend. But again, people make their own decisions, and clearly the people who are buying the pot stocks and all the other crazy fast movers are doing substantially better than my positions as well. With that being said, I want to be very mindful of this. Again, looking here on the weekly chart, again, NIO has come from very far below. Again, this was a $2 or $3 stock last summer, and now it's really ripping higher, nearly a $70 stock potentially in the near future. With earnings, we do get a earnings run at times with NIO, because you can kind of see here we had that previous kind of like earnings coming into the past 2 or 3 earnings, especially not the last earnings. We had a pretty substantial run, and that run basically started on 10/26, and that earnings was on 11/17. So it kind of falls into that 2 to 3 week time frame of people starting to check their calendars, Googling around when NIO earnings are, trying to play the next play, trying to get into the ground floor of the next Tesla, whatever you want to call it, whatever people want to make an excuse, whatever they want to put, what tag they want to put behind it. But put NIO on your watch list. If you don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, I totally understand. But just watch it. Just kind of learn the chart here, and you can potentially see this particular pattern play out on other charts. So again, guys, thank you so very much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on the way out the door. And again, I hopefully will see you soon in the next video or the next live stream. Peace.